Welcome to Jennifer with Coffee, a mindset podcast for people who are looking for real change. I'm Jennifer Lauer, writer, yogi, and fitness fanatic. Lately, I've been having lots of coffee meetups, long, honest conversations that delve into mindset, identity, choices, and habits that shape our lives. I kept thinking how I wanted to share these conversations, so here we are. Each episode moves in 3 beats: an inspirational story, an interview with thinkers, builders, athletes, and artists, people who want to share their own transformations. And we'll end with a brief meditation to practice calming the nervous system. If you've been connecting with the stories and conversations here, I've also written some fiction that explore emotional spaces. One is an AI dystopia, and the others are part of a paranormal mystery series. So if you're ever curious, you can find them on my website, jenniferleelauer.com. Today, I wanted to talk about delayed gratification. Everyone knows about the marshmallow experiment, where they gave small children one marshmallow and they said, if you can wait 10 minutes and not eat this marshmallow, then I will give you 2 marshmallows, or you can eat this one right now. And the children that were able to delay their gratification turned out to be more successful in their adulthood. It is funny because sometimes we're really good at delayed gratification and sometimes we're terrible at it and we just gobble that marshmallow up right away. In my adulthood, I keep reminding myself of the benefits of delayed gratification. And I think I'm talking about it right now just to remind myself that the best things come when you can handle the delay. A delay doesn't have to be a rejection. A delay doesn't have to be a never. A delay just means not right now. And when I can reframe things in my life as a delay, it gives me peace to know if I don't get this marshmallow right now, maybe waiting will bring me 2. It's kind of like the mantra, this or something better. I really believe if you're meant for something, the idea of something coming to you that you want, that you desire, or something that you see in someone else that you're like, ooh, I wish I could be like that, or I wish I could have that. That comes to you in a divine way, even if it feels very far from you. The only reason that it would come into your spirit is because it means something to you. It's meaningful. You should always follow that. When you want a marshmallow and then you eat it right away, you forget about it about 5 seconds later. It might have been good in the moment, a little hit of dopamine, having that treat. In the long run, the things that really matter, the things that you really care about, are the things that are slow to develop, are things that take some resistance, take some suffering. I wish it wasn't like that. But then again, if there was no resistance to your greatest goals and desires, you probably would be really bored by them. If something was meant for you and you got it right away, there's hedonic adaptation. Hedonic adaptation tells you get used to things really fast. So it's like when you get a brand new car, say this was your dream car. You had desired and thought about and put it on your vision board, did all the research, and you somehow, the universe brings you this exact car. You get your dream, and then you're driving this car every day and you slowly forget how much you wanted this car, how much you desired this car. The only way for you to maintain love for this car is if you remind yourself how grateful you are to be driving it. No matter how long the delay was, right? I tried to do that myself. There are so many things that I count in my life with gratitude, and that is the only way to continue to keep desiring what you have through gratitude. Delay the gratification, and then when you achieve it, when you receive it, remind yourself with gratitude. I'm so grateful that I get to drive my dream car every day, even though you've had it for 4 years now and it's a little dusty and the seats have a little wear and tear. Just a little reminder that delay can actually be a good thing, and gratitude is the key to maintaining it. And now for our interview. Alexis Meruelo is a nationally recognized speaker, author, philanthropist, and creator of the Business of Her conference. She is dedicated to helping women believe in their worth, build wealth, and step into positions of power through mentorship, collaboration, and community. Now, through her debut book, Getting You Ready for Power, Alexis introduces her signature 3-phase framework. Believe in yourself, build your team, and rise to lead. Blending personal stories, research, and practical strategy, the book offers a powerful roadmap for women to authentically embrace their own power from within. Welcome to Jennifer with Coffee, Alexis.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. So I currently oversee corporate social responsibility, which essentially I oversee different philanthropic works in terms of how the business is going to be doing good things in the community. And so that's really my full-time role. In addition, I also am a newly anointed author here, as well as a conference creator.
I'm curious about the corporate philanthropy. So are you pairing corporations with philanthropic projects? Are you like the middleman? Is that kind of how it works?
Essentially, yes. So there's a lot of different initiatives of which we kind of really focus on. And then it's my job to go out and find those nonprofits, find those initiatives, and make sure that we're building partnerships for them.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Did you come to building the conference first or writing the book first? What was kind of the order?
When it came to the book was very much a healing and spiritual journey for me. It took me 3 years to write it. Through it, I think I actually found my own healing. I was able to really then have this playbook of how I went through it. I don't spare any details. I go through the ups, the downs, my heartbreaks, my losses, all the things I've ever gone through, and then how I got to the other side of it. I hope that it turns into a really great playbook for other people that are going through similar things. In terms of the conference, I think, building a community of women has always been something that I've wanted to do. I just didn't know how to do it. When it came to kind of creating this national event, at first, right, it's very daunting, but it actually happened at the same time. I think the book and the conference both kind of happened at the same time. And even in one of the later chapters, I talk about how the conference will be happening in November, right? Because I was still writing it. It all kind of happened simultaneously, which is the best part of creating, is when they all kind of happen together. So.
That's really interesting. I feel very aligned with your mission in that this podcast is really to do both of those things, uplift women and discussing the journey that it takes, the transformation of our lives. Because I always say we have transformations multiple times in our lives, some more than others. And I find that hearing other people's story of how they got from point A to point B is so informative. Having a conference combining all of these women and their stories, I feel like it's a really interesting thing. On this podcast, we're curious about that time of transformation. Can you maybe walk us through a time where you went from one version of yourself to the next?
Ooh, well, I could think of many. I would say there's been a few in recent that I look back and think, oh my God, how am I even the same person? Like, I don't even recognize myself anymore. And I think those are the transformations that I'm probably the most proud of. One that comes to mind that I've written about is a really, really intense heartbreak where you think that this is your person and then they just turn around and say, you're not. After years of building and creating and wanting to be in a partnership, it could really kind of put your life at a halt. I thought at first the breakup was going to ruin me, as many women who have been through it know. I now look back and see the breakup as this magical portal that really led to myself and to my own self-discovery. So what I got out of it was I learned that success is not truly, you know, marriage. Success is not finding a marriage or being in a partnership or having kids. It's really finding yourself. If you really understand who you are, everything else will come so much stronger and better and faster because you have such a strong foundation. Being forced to sit with myself and really do the work is where I saw the biggest transformation.
Could you tell me what were you like, the kind of person you were before the breakup and the kind of person that you became afterward? You know, we're essentially still ourselves, but maybe we were quieting or closing off a part of ourselves to make space for someone else, which I think happens in relationships in general. So I'm just curious, was there something that you look back and you're like, wow, I had no space for this part of myself before, and then this became something really important to me after?
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the things that comes to mind is my self-worth. When you're in a relationship, sometimes as women, we tend to prioritize other people in front of our own needs. So many times we think, well, if I could only just make this person happy, or that's where we seek value or worthiness, it's really, really, really easy to lose yourself, of which I did. I was kind of like Gumby, very much flopping all over the place and didn't have a stable backbone to which I could operate my daily life on. That's something I think I look back and I'm like, wow, I don't recognize myself anymore. To be able to stand on 10 toes and say, no, like this is who I am, this is my work, this is my purpose, it's really powerful. And when you come from that place, I think it creates a whole different direction for your life.
Yeah, in the famous words of Selena Gomez, if you are a people pleaser and you stop people pleasing, people will not be pleased.
Hmm.
When you are that Gumby flexible and you're of being what everyone around you needs you to be, when you turn inward and stop performing for everyone else and you start coming from that space inside, it can be an uncomfortable thing. So clearly you were going through this breakup. How did it affect the other people in your life when you transformed and stopped maybe doing so much Gumby action?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, look, there's always going to be folks that don't like it because they're used to a certain person or they're used to, who you used to be. But I think the people that really love you are really going to be proud of you. And that's what I mostly experienced was people that are still in my circle today are really proud of the person I am. That's a testament to not only our relationship, but the fact that they see me and, for lack of a better terms, think I'm brave. I kind of I don't love that, right? I think I like courage better or strength, but I will say there has been a lot of bravery or courage or strength that I've had to, exemplify through the transition and the growth period that maybe some people didn't. And they look and say, oh, wow, she did it.
At that time, were you as drawn to being this entrepreneur who runs conferences and writes books?
I think deep down there was always a desire to do something more, which is what's really important. When you cover all of those things, the voice just gets louder and louder. But I think when I had to sit with myself, that's when everything really started to rush in. And that's when those moments were like, oh, wow, now I have all this space and time to dedicate to all of these things I've always wanted to do. Let's do it. Looking back, in the moment, it was really painful. But looking back, I'm like, oh, thank God that that's exactly what happened because now I wouldn't change it for the world. I think it's always been there. It took me falling a few times to actually get the courage to do it.
What do you think some of the most important characteristics are to develop into your most powerful self, to this person who can have a strong backbone in the face of maybe you didn't before?
So I think I touch upon this in my writing, but one of the things that I think is really important is having a group of mentors. Let me explain. Today, mentorship gets a really bad rap. We're like, oh, go get a coffee, go meet with somebody, and really it doesn't do much. But I think one of the things that has really been a testament to my own career success are the people that have been in my corner. Because of them, made me reframe different things of maybe what I couldn't do, change them into no, why do you think you can't do them? Because I know you can. The study and the research shows only 37% of women currently have mentorship or mentors today. And of those 37%, only 17% of those women got mentors by asking, which means that more than 70% of us are sitting at home and haven't sent a single email asking somebody to be their mentor, which to me is crazy. When all the statistic and the research and the studies show that women that do have mentorship or support are more likely to get a promotion, more likely to be spoken around in rooms, more likely to be supported, more likely to get a pay bump. All the things are there supporting this data, and yet a majority of us don't even have them. And so I really want to make sure if there's one key takeaway from today's podcast, if you are listening, do yourself a favor and do both of us a solid. Write an email or a DM or a text to somebody that you really admire and shoot your shot. Because at the end of the day, if you can meet with that person 2 or 3 times a year and talk about some of the things that are holding you back and have some different framework or a different perspective on how you can move forward, it can truly alter your trajectory. I think that's one of the key current misses today of women is that we are not asking for support, and yet it's such an indicator of our career success and where we're going to go.
Wow, really incredible advice. Women who have made their way have so much wisdom to offer. I like to think about it. If someone were to ask me to mentor them, like how would that feel? Obviously, if it's someone who you want to mentor you, they have some level of success. They're doing something that you want to do. So you might think they're too busy. They are too out of your league to be getting in touch with. But if it was someone coming to me and asking me, how would I feel? Your chances of getting a yes are much higher than you think. What are some other ways to combat that fear that someone might have in sending the email, sending the DM? Because I completely agree with you that the best things I've learned in my life have been from other women who have gone through it before me or have shared in so many different aspects of life the best information about anything, business, love, health. They all come from people who have been there before. Yeah. So, what's another way you could combat that fear? Because I just want to give another tip so that we can make sure that people actually do it.
Yeah, so this exact situation actually happened to me. A couple years ago, I was introduced to a very successful female millionaire. We were at an event, somebody gave me her cell phone number and basically said, you need to go meet. So we spent an hour, we chit-chatted, we got to know each other. We were like, okay, we definitely connected. And at the end of it, she said, hey, I'm going to shoot you a text. I want you to reach out to me. I would love to mentor you. I remember thinking, wow, that's great. What ended up happening was months went by and I never reached out. The person that connected us ended up asking, hey, did you ever reach out to so and so? And I said, no. And she said, why? And I said, well, she's so busy. She's got 4 kids. She's running an empire. She's all the things. And then I went and stopped myself. And in those exact words, I thought, oh my God, I know exactly why all the girls I gave my cell phone number to never called me. And I'm over here wishing, wondering, waiting why like 20 girls aren't following up on such a great opportunity to give this mentorship thing a shot. And yet here I am doing the exact same thing. And so for me, it wasn't until I actually had that moment where I saw the complete disconnect. Because the truth is, a lot of these successful or just even women that we emulate, we always tell ourselves, well, we don't want to be a burden, right? We don't want to burden you. We don't want to bother you. We know you're busy, right? We don't want to do any of those things. On the other side of it, they're out here wise and successful and happy to give advice to young people. And so we talk ourselves out of it, but the truth is that I would rather you shoot your shot and not get a response than not try at all because you have no idea what that person could say. You don't want to take that opportunity away from somebody else. Remember that mentorship is also a two-way street. If you are giving somebody advice, that is also rewarding. That's fulfilling. That's a really wonderful thing to do. Don't take that opportunity to be great from somebody away. There's no harm in that. If you're listening to this, let that moment really sink in and hit you because I don't want that same thing that happened to me to happen to you. I want you to really understand that one, you are not taking away from somebody. Two, ask because right now more than 70% of us women aren't asking. So there's your shot. There's your opportunity right there. And the third is you can and will find someone to help you. And if the first three don't work out, I promise you, if you send 10, somebody's going to say yes. And then if you're still not getting yeses, change your email a little bit. Maybe send it to 2 or 3 people a little bit, maybe lower than Emma agreed, right? Let's cater it, let's change it. But I promise at some point, somebody would say, happy to give you some advice, hun. Happy to hear you out. I think it's really just taking away that stigma of it and like learning that people are more than willing. We just stop ourselves.
Yeah. Inquiring minds want to know, did you finally text her?
I did. I did, yes. And what ended up happening was I reached out, and within an hour, I had an email from the office of the CEO. I had a scheduled Zoom meeting for an hour with her. And by the time it ended, she had nominated me for an internship kind of program.
Wow.
That it's only by nomination that you could even be considered. And here I am thinking that she's too busy for me. And so it's like, you have no idea. You have no idea. And I tell the girls I work with all the time, reach out, reach back out. You're not bothering me. Send me an email, send me a question. It's really not a big deal. It takes me about 1 minute to get back to you. Even if it's as small as, does this resume look good? Or does this question look good? Or what do you think about this company? It's not difficult, guys. Like, we're all doing stuff. I can shoot a text. It's really not that hard. So I think take that stigma away and find a list of people. You are who you're around. Who you surround yourself with is who you become. And if you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are not doing anything, or don't have many aspirations, or don't see the world in a big way, where does that leave you?
Yeah, totally.
It's not going to be good.
Yeah, I also want to go back to what you were saying about how being in the mentorship relationship is also giving to the mentor. Learning to receive as a woman is one of our important lessons to learn in this life. A lot of people are givers. It's in our nature to be nurturing. There's creative energy where it's a lot easier to give of yourself, take care of people. Learning to receive that back. You need to see the value that you provide someone, even when they're the mentor for you. So, like, it isn't just a one-way street that they're giving you all their wisdom. What an amazing gift it is if you give someone advice. I mean, like, take this down to the smallest level. If you recommend something for someone, like, for example, if I recommend a book to a friend and they actually read that book and come back to me and say they read that book, it is such an honor. It takes a long time to read a
Mhm,
book, right? And
mhm,
I feel so
mhm,
honored that that person took my opinion and went ahead
mhm.
and did it. So on this whole idea of relationships and mentorships with women, I think that learning to give and receive are vital.
Oh, 100%. It's funny you say that because even in my book, I talk about two or three books that changed my life completely. And I had people come back to me and say, "Oh, by the way, I ordered that Nicole Walters book you wrote about." And I was like, "Really? You did?" Or like I quoted so much of Melinda Gates' research from her book. Like, yeah, I really want to learn more about that. What? You did? Really? So it's actually really cool because if you told me you read a book that changed your life, hell, of course I'm going to order it. What was it in this that made you go, aha, I want to know? I think that is such a game changer. It's a game changer to be able to not only hear when you learn about something that the person that you admire likes, you're like, well, I want it too. Influencing 101. They like it, I want it. They have a perfume, it's probably good because I like them. That's how it works, right? Why can't we do that with work? Why can't we do that with money? Why can't we do that with career or how to ask for promotion? If somebody says this is how I do it, or if somebody says this is what I think you should do, I don't know, maybe take them up on it.
Incredible advice. Okay, so, you know, going down that same road, what's something that we get wrong about becoming our most successful selves? Like, have you seen in the people you work with, is there a pattern? I feel like there are always patterns with these kind of things, but is there something that you notice is a common obstacle that people have when it comes to becoming their most successful, powerful selves?
Oh, 100%. You know what it is? It's that we think that we're here when we can actually be here. And for those of you who can't see, I left put my hand here. Here's the thing. We can only see how much our fear allows us to see because our fear holds us back so much. And I'll give you a perfect example. Anytime that you want to go for a client that's bigger than what you've ever had, your old operating self will go, "Oh, well, you've only ever done this, so that's what we're going to do." It's not going to go, "Oh, of course, jump really high because you could fall." And fear is not going to let you do that. And so I see this all the time. I see it all the time. I see it not only with team members, I see it with all the girls I mentor, I see it with my mentees, I see it with my community. They're not yet ready to take that next step because of fear. And all it really takes is a couple of conversations with somebody who 10x's that idea. Because then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, well, I didn't think I was gonna create Disneyland, but I guess I could create an event, or I guess I could, right? It really is about thinking of something and then 10xing it. It takes the fear away from that next step. For example, when I was writing my book, I think one of the things that is scary is pitching it to a literary agent. That could be scary. But then instead of that, I want you to 10x it and think, well, I want to pitch this to be a movie in 12 different countries. Well, yeah, shit, that's a lot scarier, right? But can you do step one? I think step one just became a lot easier. So it's like, how do you continue to always think 10 times bigger so that the fear doesn't actually stop you from really taking that next step. Because I see so many people get stuck on just the littlest things.
That is so true. And it makes me think of, I saw this interview once with Obama. He was saying how once he became president, he was in the rooms with all of the heads of state and the smartest people in the world. He expected this incredible intellect and the highest degree of humanity in these rooms. He basically was like, yeah, they weren't so intimidating. For him to say that, you're saying 10x it, that's 10x to me.
Well, nobody's born all knowing. Think about it. We all came to Earth. We're all born at the same time. We're all learning things at the same time. There's a single person that came to Earth the level of President Obama intellect. At some point, they had to go to kindergarten. At some point, they had to go to first grade. We're all learning different things. Sure, there's people with different IQs, but that's not really the point. The point is we're all learning at the same exact speed on planet Earth.
It's so true. And
So,
I've actually met people with insane IQs that are just very normal, regular people. Their brains just work on some other level. Honestly, they're just like anyone else. We're all exactly from the same cloth. We're all ordinary and extraordinary. We all have the potential to be extraordinary because we all come from the same makeup as someone who is Albert Einstein. We all come from the same, we all bleed. We are all capable. Some people decide to live a more simple life. Some people decide to live a big, bold life. If you feel drawn to living that big, bold life, like you were saying before, you need to surround yourself with big, bold people.
mm-hmm, for sure.
Can we get into some of the fun with your book? I really am curious about you went on a book tour. How did that go? That was recent.
Yeah, it's been great. I think the best part about it is really getting to one-on-one hear a lot of the things that women are going through. You know, a book is really impactful and insightful and inspiring, but there's nothing like one-to-one connection and me being able to like personally cater advice to someone's specific story. Slowly but surely, I feel like I'm becoming this like mentorship queen where it's not like a coach where you have to hire me for work. It's more like this is my older big sister, but like business mentor that can give me some perspective and remove some fears around the next thing I want to do. That's exactly what this book tour has become. It's become like a place where you come into an event or you come to this space. I try and get to everybody and just hear them out. What is it you're working on? What are you struggling with? What's the next two or three things you really want to do? And then we pull back what's holding them back. One of the girls really wanted to start her own real estate business. Instead, she finds herself getting stuck working back with her dad. So we went back and forth for 20, 30 minutes on like, well, can you really explain the why behind both of them, right? Like, what is it? And sometimes it's just talking to somebody about it that helps you get clarity on your next step. And so that's really what it is. It's like having these conversations to get clarity.
Yeah, I love that. Your next title of your book, The Mentorship Queen. It would be really interesting to read about all of your experiences that you're having right now. So I hope you're writing them down. I have a question. I am really good at seeing what's happening with other people. As a mentor, as a being helpful in someone's career, always easier when you are not under the fire because you can kind of see things from a more meta view. How do you turn that back on yourself? Because I feel like for myself personally, I'm not great
Mm-hmm.
seeing myself. I try to do the thing where you pretend
Mm-mm.
you're your best friend and give yourself advice from there. So, do you have any advice for someone who can see things really well for other people, but then reflecting it back is difficult?
Oh, 100%. The real genuine answer is I have my own team of people. We can't do it for ourselves. We are human, we get stuck too with things. So I have a group of people that I've surrounded myself with that I pick up the phone when I'm stuck. And the same kind of conversations that I'm having with little girls, I'll have with them about my own self. Perfect example. Had a Sunday writing afternoon event last weekend. And there's this woman I've become really great friends with. I think very highly of her, and we wanted to both do some free writing on a Sunday. And I told her, I'm kind of stuck right now because I really want to write this next book, which is like a 2.0 version of the one I just created. But instead of career and mentorship, it's really about finding love and finding yourself and changing perspectives and beliefs. I also feel this call to write this fiction summer read romance book because it's in my head and I can't get it out. I keep writing all of my lessons and my personal lessons the way that I wrote my second book, and then I'm trying to squeeze them into these characters and like make them fit. And she's like, wait. Can you just separate them? But why are you trying to squeeze these emotions and feelings into these characters? And I was like, well, because I don't know how, if it's one book. And she's like, well, why can't it be two? And then it hit me. Oh, yeah, these are two different books. Like this is We all have these moments. We can't see sometimes perfectly for ourselves, which is why, again, it's so important to know who you're going to call when you get stuck or to have spiritual hygiene and to be able to say, okay, I'm stuck. I need clarity. I also love to journal. I think it's one of the things that's brought me the most clarity in life is just getting things out onto paper when I feel stuck, or if I'm having a conflict with somebody or not knowing how to talk to somebody. I will have that conversation in my head. I will play the whole thing out start to finish of exactly how I'm going to talk to them, of exactly what I want to say. And then I say it so many times in my head that by the time the next day rolls around, I'm not so angry anymore. I've forgiven them. I've moved on from whatever it is. So there's different things that I will do or that I have set up for me now that make it easier to get through it.
Well, you just gave me so much clarity because it's kind of like that moment when you were in the midst of saying all of the reasons why you didn't text that mentor back. Wait a second. I give that advice all of the time that you need a team. That's so funny. Having a team is such key advice, especially depending on your personality type. But if you're somebody who needs accountability to get things done, which I am one of those people, you need to have someone outside yourself reflecting that back. And I also wanted to say that as we've been chatting, this is the whole way this podcast came about was actually through mentorship.
Hmm.
I was going on coffee dates with people for maybe 2 years. It was writing based. And we would have these great conversations. And I'm like, I really want to share these in some way. For a while, I was toiling on my next podcast. These are those conversations. We all kind of crave the same thing. It's such a good reminder. This is how it works. Having these conversations, hearing other people's stories. This is how you elevate. This is how you learn how to be your best version of yourself. And we constantly need those reminders. That's why self-help books continually sell because they all essentially are saying the same thing in different ways. They get modernized. We need those reminders. We need new voices giving us the same information because maybe they'll say it in just the right way to change
Hmm.
someone's life.
Oh, yeah, for sure. One of the books that for me really was resonating the most was Nicole Walters's book. She really, I mean, she had
What's
these
the title?
Oh, nothing is missing. She had such vivid stories of her personal life, of the things that she had to overcome and do. And the way that she explained it, I was on the edge of my seat. Like, I couldn't even read it fast enough. Oh my God, this is so good. How did she do this? Like, this is crazy. There's a story about how she got on the Wheel of Fortune as a kid because she couldn't pay her bills and then she really needed money. And this was like her one last shot. And I was like, oh my God. And I remember at the end, I tore out that page of when she finally got on that show. There's like this one page, I remember I like pulled it out and posted it on the top of my desk. He's right. The way that you show up for one person is the way you have to show up for a crowd of 1 million people. It just stuck with me, and ever since it's just like been on my board. Stuff like that happens all the time, whether it's a book or a friend or a therapist or a career coach or the people you surround yourself with. You need to have a bunch of different people to go to when you are feeling stuck. I think the hardest part is how quickly can you identify that you personally are stuck.
Yeah.
Don't sit on it for too long. If you sit on it for too long, you're not going to get it done. If I'm feeling stuck, I'm feeling stuck. Okay, well, I'm feeling stuck. Who can I call? Always get movement on it because if you're stuck on it for too long, it's not good.
Yeah, I've heard that's one of the elements of becoming successful is how quickly you make decisions. The faster you make a decision, the better. It's the antithesis to what a lot of people who call themselves perfectionists, I say that talking about myself, so that you don't have to make a quick decision. But the truth is, the faster you make the decision, the faster you realize if it was right or not. So you can make a different decision. I think one of the things you're talking about too is following what life is showing you. When an opportunity is presented, giving yourself that gut check, whether it's aligned or not, making a decision. It might be the wrong way, but maybe you need to learn something down that road so that you can turn the right way. A lot of people talk about being stuck. You're always deciding. If you're deciding to be stuck, that's a decision too. The best way to get unstuck, like you said, is movement. Take action, any action.
100%. Yeah, there's no right or wrong, right? It's like we're all on our own journey, but at the end of the day, what is it that you really want to accomplish and what's holding you back? It's as simple as those two questions.
Do you have any advice for someone who wants to do something big like you are with starting your own conference and writing a book. So I guess you could do both of those.
Oh, I have a ton of advice. One is this. If you feel called to write a book, then you will write a book. I think that a lot of the times we get stuck on, well, how's it going to get published and what's this and what's the cost and how much it's like you're going to get to all of that. The hardest part is literally writing it. So just write it. Commit. Can you commit? Can you go home? Can you commit to writing an hour a day? That's it. Plain and simple. Get it out of you. Write. You will work everything else out after it's done. There's a million options now on how to get your book out there. You can self-publish, you can upload to Kindle, you can get a book deal, there's so many ways to get it out now that it's not for you to worry about all those things because if you do, it's going to stop you from even starting.
Great advice. Yeah, because there's like 90% of people want to write a book and only 2% ever do.
Those are some good stats.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I definitely think that's great advice for writing your first book. And what about the conference? I think there are a lot of women who want to be in community with other business people. There are a lot of ways to do that. But if somebody is interested in doing something big like you are, do you have any advice for them?
Here's what I would say is start small. I think it can be very overwhelming to be like, I'm going to do a national conference. That's so overwhelming. And that's not how I started. Why don't you start with hosting? And this is what I used to do all the time. I would host dinners at my house for 40 people twice or three times a year. Can you do that? Can you host and make it even smaller? Can you invite 5 people over? Can you invite 10 people over for a small women's dinner at your house? Make it so easy, so simple that if you don't do it, you're never going to get to step 12. And I think it goes back to like 10xing something. If you want to start a national women's conference, that's amazing. I would start with step one. Invite people over to your house, to someone else's house, and get to know a community, get to build relationships. Because a national conference doesn't take off without relationships. It's 100%. How are you going to even invite speakers or get speakers or have conversations and build Q&A questions if you don't even know the women in your town or if you don't know what they're going through? You have to really start from ground zero. That's my best advice is make it small and start small and then work your way up.
Terrific advice. Well, if someone would like to work with you, Alexis, or find your book, what's the best place to find it? What's your social, your website?
Sure. My website is just alexismeruelo.com. You can find me on Instagram at just Alexis Meruelo, or you can find our National Women's Conference called The Business of Her on Instagram, just at Business of Her. We have links to my book, but my book is available on Amazon, Target.com, Barnes& Noble, Porchlight, all the things. The book is called Getting You Ready for Power, and it is a self-help book for all women looking to take that next step in their life, whatever that may be.
And what if we want to attend your conference? When is it? Where do you get tickets, etc.?
Tickets are on businessofher.com. They also will be available on Eventbrite. They'll be dropping in September, and the conference is November 14th
And where is it?
in Las Vegas.
All right. Awesome. Okay, well, we end each episode with this very important question. Alexis, how do you take your coffee?
Oh, right now iced. I want it iced. I want to go to Dutch Bros. I want somebody to make it for me, and I want it to have sweet cream. That's my go-to. But I love this question.
Yes, I'm a coffee-aholic. Good choice. I
Love
approve.
it.
Thank you so much for being on Jennifer with Coffee, Alexis. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you.
I love it. Bye, guys.
Today's 3 breaths are going to be about our next version. So, what I'd like to do is when we breathe in, we're going to breathe in our newest version, our next version of ourselves, our highest good. And then we're going to breathe out the old version of ourselves. So let these breaths, breathe in your newest version, your next level, breathe out the past. And let's take that first inhale, breathing in the next version of you, and exhale any old energy, exhale the old breath. Inhale, expanding the stomach for this second breath, allowing the new version breath to reach into all the new spaces. And exhale, allowing the old version to slip away. And one last breath in, breathing in the new vital oxygen. And we'll exhale slow, get every last bit of the old air out. May you go forth into your day thinking of that new, higher version of yourself. Be well. Thank you for listening to Jennifer with Coffee. Follow us on Instagram at Jennifer with Coffee and on Substack. This has been a Kings of Content production. Music by Oreo CC.